A while back, a question was asked. What Ranma 1/2 character do you see in yourself? What Ranma 1/2 character is most like you? Here are some of the answers that were given. Mrs. Link Larkin says, I think I'd be most like Akane because I cannot cook. I have a short temper at times, but I'm nice, and I always say that I hate boys and try to hide my true feelings most of the time. Dark Drifter UK says, I'm like Ryoga. I spend most of my time in thought and walking. Fushigi Tenyaranma says, I guess I'm Hinako Ninomiya, because I'm very childlike most of the time, but there are times where I act like an adult. Shippo47 says, I am most like Nabiki. I cheat people out of money and I cannot control my sarcasm. I don't know if that's to be considered a good thing. Monkey Nuts 8 says, I see myself as Happosai. Yep, I love me some panties. A lot of different answers were given, but the overall result was expected. Most people relate with Ryoga Hibiki, as he is one of the most intricate personalities from Ranma 1/2, and anime in general. But you will also notice, not a single person admits to being like Hikaru Gosunkugi. As to why, well... School is a big part of our young upbringing, and as we all know, there's a certain caste system to every school. Similar to gangs, people group together when they share common beliefs, attitudes, and rituals. You've got your jocks, your nerds, your debutantes, the goth, the skaters, dirtbags, emo. But every classroom has that one kid that doesn't fit into any group. One who shares no mindset with any of his peers. The creepy kid who sits in the back and speaks to no one. The one who secretly harbors disdain for his fellow classmates. That is Hikaru Gosunkugi. Gosunkugi is Furinken High's resident weirdo. His overbearing shyness forbids him from saying a word to his classmates, and he has very few friends, if any. He is quite the vapid young fellow, with pale skin and huge bags under his eyes, leading one to believe that he doesn't go outside much. He has no strength to speak of, and because of his meek, submissive nature, he's often bullied around. That's not to say he doesn't try to defend himself. Obviously, he knows nothing about martial arts, but he is a whiz in shop class. Gosunkugi mixes crafts as his weapon of choice is the hammer and nail, with which, as you can see, he wields with less than deadly precision. As if this weren't enough, he's also a total klutz, constantly tripping over his own 2 feet and causing himself harm and embarrassment. In a nutshell, Gosunkugi is a boy born under a bad sign. Gosunkugi, along with many other male students at Furinken High, has a raging crush on Akane Tendo. When the two are in the same class, he is helpless to do anything but ogle her from the dark corner he dwells in. He is absolutely stupid in love with her, and in true creepy form, he follows Akane and watches her from the shadows, staring, mentally undressing. He will hide out at her doorstep with a Polaroid in hand and thoughts of perversion in mind. In his deprived head, a vision of a future that will never come, where he and Akane are married, that he will be her knight in shining armor. A few times he has tried to approach her and start up a conversation, only to flounder about his words and look like a total weenie. Gosunkugi is persistent, however, and truly believes he has a chance to achieve his goal and make his dreams reality. There is only one obstacle in his path: Ranma Saotome. Ranma Saotome is the reluctant fiancé of Akane, and the two have a less than stellar relationship. They argue over everything under the sky. Gosunkugi recognizes his laundry list of drawbacks, but has no shortage of ego and pride. A fiancé's bond is breakable. What if Akane were to dump the loser and end up with a real man? And thus, there is a name to Gosunkugi's pain, and it is Ranma. It is Gosunkugi's intent to eliminate this obstacle from his life. In twisted, Wile E. Coyote-type fashion, Gosunkugi often toils in the sidelines, waiting for Ranma to pass by as he treks to school, coiled and ready to strike. He sets up elaborate traps to snare his archenemy, but because of his clumsiness and bad karma, they backfire every time. The poor, pathetic wretch. But do not shed a tear in pity of Hikaru Gosunkugi, for he has yet to bring out the big guns. You think this kid is creepy? Well, son, you don't know the half of it. Voodoo, the occult, hexes and dark magics, EVP and Ouija boards, witchcraft, animistic deities, curses, alchemy, and tarot. Who would have thought this quiet young man had such a dark, sinister side to his persona? In the ancient art of voodoo, Gosunkugi's knowledge is limitless. He is headstrong in his beliefs, and the lifestyle offers him respite from his beleaguered life. But he will often turn to it in times of desperation, when a hatred has become so deep-seated it becomes a vendetta. With 2 candles strapped to his head, making him a brilliant beacon of light to attract wayward spirits, Gosunkugi can make his opponent rue the day he was ever born. He is a commandeer of damned souls, a master of the voodoo doll and its crippling ailments, a conjurer of dark magic, an expert in all things accursed. Of course, it's easy to be a skeptic. A lot of this hocus pocus could be written off as mental hoopla, and though Gosunkugi has pulled off some true miracles, they could be considered coincidence. But to underestimate this man could spell instant death. How must it feel to be Ranma Saotome, to be the target of such off-the-scale hatred, to know that Gosunkugi has your immortal soul in a stranglehold? This is all part of Gosunkugi's mental game. So, where are all the Gosunkugis? I think it would be safe to say that if there were any out there, they'd be shy to admit it. There's a lot of negative that goes along with his personality. And what is to become of the quiet kid in the classroom? Either he, A, becomes highly successful, B, becomes not so successful and still harbors resentment towards his schoolmates, C, becomes a mass murderer, or D, delivers mail and in his free time makes Ranma 1/2 character profiles. And I'd be willing to bet there are more than just a paltry few Gosunkugis out there. I'm sure at times we've all felt a little inferior, a little clumsy, a little evil. So be you a jock, nerd, or whatever, take a good hard look in the mirror, for there's a little bit of Hikaru Gosunkugi in all of us.
How did I get caught up in this? This is Hikaru Gosunkugi bidding you farewell.
This has been a Ranma 1/2 character profile. Special thanks go out to Patty6485, Animate84, Zodi999, Robegnik, Ultimate Moose, Vixenmon08, and Gilligfan for the requests.